right, so you want to jump in with 18?
Yes, sir.
DeAndre Swift for me.
I'm actually kind of getting really frustrated. Yeah, he's my 18 too.
Oh.
Oh, man.
What are you getting frustrated with? We're closer than we thought?
Yeah, I don't like that. Like, wide receivers better be wildly different.
I'm sure they will be. Your running backs, there's only so many, man. But no, DeAndre Swift, again, for me, sure opportunity. He's going to be it in that offense. That offense also doesn't have
Yep, that's
anything
mainly
left.
what I'm leaning into. Yeah, they don't have much, and I'm buying into the hype that they want to see him much more in the passing game, line him up out in the slot. He can do that. He's a very light Alvin Kamara style player.
Yeah, I mean, he had...
he only saw 20-plus touches one time last year in 13 games.
Well, he only had 114 attempts on the season, which I do find really low out of these kind of RB2s.
Yeah, and he was sharing the workload, and he's still going to share the workload with Jamal Williams.
Yeah, that is true. Jamal Williams does worry me a little bit.
Yeah, so last year his 16-game pace, I mean, he played 13, but his 16-game pace, I made it because I wanted to make it.
Yep.
His rushing attempts would have been 173, yards 641, 10 touchdowns, which is a decent number for him. Targets, 70 targets. I could legitimately see DeAndre Swift pushing for over 80 targets this year.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they don't have anybody to pass to.
Not anyone great besides TJ. And yeah, you have Goff, but that would have been 57 receptions, 439 receiving yards, 230 total touches, which is a good number.
Mm-hmm.
Could go up a little bit. Total yards, only 1,080. Points per game would have put him at 12.125, 23rd. And total points, that would have put him at 196, 12th at the position. I'm willing to buy DeAndre Swift at the right price, but I'm not reaching for it because it can go south, kind of like Cam Akers. Cam Akers has obviously much more upside than DeAndre Swift.
Mm-hmm.
I think I don't see RB1 upside for DeAndre Swift this year. It'd be a little bit higher than this, but I don't think you're going to get, there's a possibility of getting much worse than this either.
Yeah, I mean, to me, you're really having to buy in that he's going to be the offense. And, TJ is definitely going to get his touches. And again, they've got Amon-Ra St. Brown that's coming in as a rookie. They've got Tyrell Williams, right?
Yeah, Brashad Perriman.
So, I mean, they've got some guys, but...
That's the best way to put it.
Yeah, they've got guys. They've got people that are going to play positions.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, they have to run plays. Like, they got to pass the ball. They got to run the ball. Like,
so I think for me... What I do like about DeAndre Swift is the fact that it's got to be pure volume right now. It's just a volume play. He's got to get touches
and efficiency.
And
that receiving work is just, I think, is going to be in part of the league leaders. He's not going to be an Austin Eckler, Alvin Kamara, but I can see him, pushing 80 plus.
Yeah, I agree with you. And Goff played with Gurley, so he knows how to have an efficient running back that can catch. So
Swift was an efficient runner, too. He 4.57 yards per carry last year. It was a very good mark on a bad team.
Yeah, definitely.
And this is where he finished last year.
Yeah, right around the same place.
Mm-hmm.
And I honestly, I really do feel like he's going to finish probably a little bit higher, but it's going to be right around here.
Yeah, it's going to be around here.
He won't be I would be shocked if he's a number one. If he is, congrats.
No,
that'd be awesome.
I can't.
But I can't see it
all.
happening. Not in this offense.
No.
All right, since that was our 18, how about you jump to 19?
It's your boy.
Oh, is it?
Myles Gaskin.
Oh, wow. You actually have him ranked higher than I do.
Yeah. Where do you have him?
I have him at 22.
Okay. He's a hard one.
He's definitely a difficult one.
He played 10 games last year. His 16-game pace was kind of nuts.
Yes, it was.
227 rushing attempts for 934 rushing yards. 8 touchdowns, 75 targets, which is a great number. 66 receptions, 621 receiving yards for a total of 293 touches.
Yep.
1,555 total yards. Points per game last year, he was 12th at 14.78, and total points last year would have been 230 points, 5th overall if he played all 16 games and everything else stayed the same.
Again, projected, but yeah.
That is all based on volume.
Yep.
He's a much better running back than I ever thought he was going to be, but he's still not incredible, and there's just one person that he's got to compete with, and that is Malcolm Brown,
Yep.
who will get work in his offense. But the Dolphins so far, I think what we've learned is they do want to give one guy the work. And the difference between him with Fitz and Tua last year is really not noticeable at all. He gave you the same kind of production, same volume at rushing and receiving. So I'm not worried about that. It's not like he just did all that work with Fitz and then when Tua came in, he nosedived. But this offense is hopefully in a transitional phase where they actually they brought in talent at the wide receiver position.
Yeah. Will Fuller.
Yeah, Jalen Waddle. Hopefully Tua takes a step. But honestly, that could just mean this offense is more efficient, more scoring opportunities. Because, he only scored 5 touchdowns last year in 10 games.
Mm-hmm.
So hopefully that could go up. But that could be a place where Malcolm Brown kind of edges him out a little bit. So that's why, obviously, he's not going to finish on the pace he did last year in my mind. Right. He's going to take a decent step back. But I do like Myles Gaskin.
Yeah, so here's why, like last season, if you guys watch the podcast or listen to the podcast, I mean, I was raving about this guy. Like, I don't know why people are waiting. Pick him up on the waiver wire because he was a waiver wire pickup, and he was very solid.
Well, there are a lot of reasons not to believe in Myles Gaskin.
Well, he's small.
Yeah, he's a tiny little guy. He's not like incredibly efficient. It was on the back of volume, and I expect him to see a lot of volume again. But
I mean, he was the league average at 4.1. So I mean, it's not terrible.
Yeah,
but not great.
Exactly.
But again, I really do. The reason I'm surprised I actually have him ranked lower because I do like him more than you do. But the reason I have him ranked at 22nd is, again, Malcolm Brown coming in makes me very nervous. Malcolm Brown.
It doesn't make me very nervous, but he will eat
for the touchdowns is what I'm thinking. Because Malcolm Brown is definitely going to be a little bit more efficient, I feel like, around that goal line. And if he starts taking away those touches, then I'm very concerned. However, Myles Gaskins will be a more 3-down type back than I feel like Malcolm Brown can be. So, because he can get the receiving work. He's been very good with his receiving work. But again, sure volume, he's going to be great. They didn't go out and get anybody in the draft either. So, I do think he is going to be the guy this year.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens moving forward.
And I think if you, for the most part, you can notice a trend through my rankings, and I like volume.
Yes.
Volume really matters for me, and that's why Gaskin, I have him here, which is not super high. It's 19th, but.
Well, I mean, and considering to me, you have him 4 spots ahead of me. So, which again, I like him more, which is really funny. My 19 is my other favorite running back coming into last year was J.K. Dobbins.
Okay, he's my 21.
Yeah, that's fine.
He's another guy I really kind of dove into for this.
Good. J.K., man, I really loved what I saw at the end of last season, and I think that's just going to translate into this year. They got rid of Mark Ingram. I think
but he really wasn't there last year, to be honest.
He wasn't.
Especially when J.K. Dobbins took over, he was a complete non-factor.
Yeah, I agree. But at the same time, like, I think he started the season, though. And
he had a handful. Yeah, he'd get 10 or less rushing attempts per game to start the season for the first couple games. But I mean, we've brought it up in this offense before talking about other players.
Yeah.
When you're running back, when you're
quarterback.
Yeah, when your quarterback is getting close to as many rushing attempts as your running backs, and Gus Edwards is still going to be very involved in this rushing attack, you have to be incredibly efficient, which he was last year.
Yeah.
5.97 yards per carry. That's not happening again. This is the best rushing offense in the league. That's not happening again. That is absurd. Yeah. So in his stretches, he played 15 games last year, but I'm just taking the weeks 8 through 17, a 9-game stretch where he was the guy. Mark Ingram was not a factor. So I think this is much more prescribable to what we might see next year. And in that 9-week stretch, he saw 109 rushing attempts, 651 yards. Like I said, 5.97 yards per carry, which is just bonkers efficient.
Mm-hmm.
7 rushing touchdowns, 10 targets, and 7 receptions. They say they want to get him more involved in the passing game. He could get a little bit more involved in the passing game. He's not going to get a lot of receiving work. For a total of 116 total touches, 697 total yards in those 9 games, that would have put him at 12.9 points per game, which was 20th in the league. You extrapolate that out to a 16-game pace. 194 rushing attempts is a little low for a guy that you want to be very consistent in using a lot. For that 1,157 yards, 12 touchdowns, 18 targets, 12 receptions, 82 receiving yards, just over 206 total touches for the year on his 16-game pace last year. Total yards, 1,239. The problem I have with him is that he's seeing lesser volume. He's going to have to get a lot of those touchdowns, and that efficiency has to stay up there because I don't see the passing work rising to equal it out. J.K. Dobbins is a scary player for me, and I don't think I'm going to touch him in any drafts.
No, that's fine. More for me. So I do agree with you. One thing that does make me nervous is you have Lamar Jackson, who's going to be 1,000-yard rusher.
Yeah, my problem is I just don't see the upside. What is his ceiling?
Oh, his
this
ceiling.
Year?
Well, to me, his ceiling is an RB2, like
mid RB2.
No, I would say high end RB2 is where I see him. He has the upside as far as ability goes to be in
talent. Oh, he is. I'm not
a back end
RB1.
But again, it does need to come down to volume, So to me, though, it's going to come down to touchdowns as well. Like he's going to get touchdowns, and
you hope.
I hope
you hope
because he did have 9 touchdowns.
Lamar
in that
Jackson's going to see a
too.
ton of touchdowns, and Gus Edwards is also going to be in there. Like you could interchangeably use them at any point on the field.
Not worried about Gus Edwards.
I am.
That's fine. You can be. I'm
Gus
only
Edwards
worried.
Is very good, man.
Great, but he's still the number 2.
Yeah.
So I don't care about Gus Edwards. I more care about Lamar Jackson, and I'm hoping that at some point they're going to start letting him, or actually, I should say start, but making him stay in the pocket a little bit more.
Why would they do that though?
Just because they need to. He needs
do
to become.
They though?
Yeah. They ain't winning Super Bowls with
They
doesn't
could.
matter.
They definitely could.
They can go to the playoffs all they want, but they're not winning with the direction that they're still going. As far as in the playoffs,
pretty good.
I think they've lost every year in the first game.
Yeah.
I'm just
You
saying.
can't win every year.
They haven't won any year. So that's all I'm saying.
Lamar's been in the league for 2.5 years, essentially.
All I'm saying is he can't win playoff games, and he doesn't need to run that much. I don't want to see an RB or an RG3 thing happen to this guy too. Where he's now going to be out in 3 years because he got knocked out, knee all torn up.
1 year out of RG3.
I'm just saying. Anyways, point being, I'm hoping that they're going to let this guy run the ball more. And hopefully Lamar Jackson might be able to actually give him more check down work as well.
Nothing in the past gives me any indication that that's what they can do, that they're going to do that. He'll definitely see a bump on the receiving game, but I think 30 targets is tops, man.
Yeah, that's your opinion. That's fine. I think he can be upwards of.
Can he handle more than that?
Yeah,
100%.
100%. Yeah.
Will he see it? That's the concern.
That's the question.
I have. Yeah.
No, it's a fair concern. But I definitely still like him.
35 targets for J.K. Dobbins in 2021. You taking the over or the under?
I'll take the over.
Okay, I would take the under.
Okay, sounds like we're gonna make a bet later, but no worries. 20?
Yeah.
Okay. Who you got?
Josh Jacobs.
Same.
Okay.
Wow. Okay.
He pretty much played in a full season last year. Finished good, but was maddening to have. Just explosive games and just awful games. When they won, he was incredible. When they lost, it was real bad. And now you have the Kenyon Drake problem. So last year, Josh Jacobs saw 60% of the rushing attempts. 51% of the running back targets. He saw 306 total touches last year. I don't think I fully realized that until I was diving into these stats. 306 total touches last year. That is a ton of touches.
Yeah.
His efficiency went way down. And Booker and Rashard, the two other running backs in there, saw only 151 total targets between the two of them. Drake, how many total touches do you think?
Dude,
because he could definitely see that maybe a little bit more by himself.
Yeah, just himself.
And the other problem is his touchdowns went way up. This offense was weird last year. As far as a scoring offense, they finished pretty well.
Right.
But it was just gross. Josh Jacobs ended up having 12 rushing touchdowns. His receiving work was fine. That's going to be gone. This offensive line is garbage. Absolute garbage now. He can get game scripted out of games. That defense is garbage.
Well, I think when I was looking at this too, he averaged 51 rushing yards down to a 9.2 fantasy points on games that they lost.
Yeah, it was really
Like,
bad.
wow. And what's unfortunate, I don't see it changing, to be honest.
No.
This team's going to finish last in that division.
Yeah. They finished second last year. I definitely think the Chargers finished second, but I do think that just Derek Carr seems to like just be completely mediocre.
The Raiders didn't finish second,
No,
did
yeah,
they?
they finished second in this division last year.
Behind the Chiefs?
Yeah.
The Chargers finished worse than them?
Yep.
Wow. Anyways, I disagree there.
You're making me double check it, but
go ahead, double check it.
Good.
Because I do not think that that's going to happen this year. I mean, they didn't even really go out and get
No, yeah, they're definitely not finishing second, but I could see them finishing better than Denver.
Okay, toss up between them two for sure then. But this team is not going to be good this year.
No, yeah, no, I'm not saying that, dude. Yeah, they finished second.
That's
8
crazy.
and 8. Chargers finished 7 and 9.
Wow. Well, the Chargers will definitely finish second this division this year.
Oh yeah. Chargers are like a dark horse Super Bowl team.
Mm-hmm. I definitely agree with you. When I look at this, I have Josh Jacobs ranked at 20. I will tell you and everybody, I have no plans to draft him this year.
At the right price, I honestly don't mind it because he will see the volume. He will see the goal line work. The receiving work's gone. Hopefully that efficiency can come back up a little bit more. But at the RB20, I mean, you're not expecting greatness out of this player. If you can get him as like your RB3, that's fine. That's perfectly fine.
I just know there's a few guys that I technically have ranked behind him for some reason that I still wouldn't mind taking.
Well, that's the problem. His upside's gone.
Yeah.
His upside's gone.
He just has no upside.
That's the problem.
Like we're just gonna have an okay season out of him.
Yeah.
And again, a lot of this is game scripting out, and I'm worried that if they get game scripted out, will they put in Kenyon Drake for the receiving work? Or like, what's that going to look like? Because Kenyon Drake, guys, is a very capable running back. I don't know why this dude continues to get hosed. I like Kenyon Drake.
At one point he was, but I mean, you have to admit, the last times we've seen him.
Yeah, he has not been great.
I mean,
but I like Kenyon Drake a lot.
15 games last year, Jacobs saw 45 targets. That was 51% of the running back target share of the Las Vegas. God, I always want to say Oakland. I'm just still going to say Oakland. I don't care.
No, you can't do that. Gotta say it right.
I'm going to. And that number is just, it's going to vanish. Like, that's the fear. It's going to vanish. And if that efficiency doesn't come up, even if he keeps the touchdown total up at 12, which is a very good number, this is what you're going to get.
Yep. It's going to be a junk season. While we're at it, since we always talk about Matt Nagy, we should also
John Gruden.
Say how much we hate John Gruden.
I think they still owe him $60 million.
It was a very dumb decision.
6 years left on that.
Should have just stayed on Fox or whatever he was doing with his
ESPN.
stupid.
Oh, he was incredible. I wish he was back in the booth so bad. I love John Gruden on Monday Night Football.
He also did like that Gruden's quarterback camp or whatever.
Yeah, they would show that stuff before Monday night games.
I always liked that crap too. It was fun.
Thank you for watching the Fantasy Monsters on YouTube. If you liked today's episode, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel below. We also have a merch store we want you to check out with all new gear that we've got available. That'll be in the description. Also, if you want to see any past videos, you can check that out as well. Thank you so much for watching the Fantasy Monsters. We'll catch you next time.
Have a good one.